Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. So today's video is going to be my April 2021 TBR. And obviously we're a little bit into April and I've already started a couple of these books, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video up before it became any further into April and I lost any more time. So let's just get into it. The first book that I wanted to read in April to finish out this series was The City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the final book in the Mortal Instruments series. It's the Shadowhunter universe, and this is just the conclusion, so I'm not going to spoil anything, and I'm sure you've heard about the Mortal Instruments. But basically, there's a girl, her mom gets kidnapped, and she's trying to figure out how to save her, and she realizes that demons kind of walk among us and is introduced into this magical world. And I love the spines of the paperback editions because they all form one picture. So that's really cool. The second book on my TBR this month is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. And I just read the Grisha trilogy in preparation for the Shadow and Bone Netflix series and wanted to read at least the first one of this before the Netflix show comes out at the end of this month to get introduced to some of the characters of Six of Crows, since I know they're going to pull some of the characters of Six of Crows they're going to weave them into the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix. So I kind of want to get at least a little bit of background knowledge about them, even if I don't know everything. So this book was on my March TBR, and I did start it, but I did not finish it, and that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. And it's kind of silly because I really love the premise of this book, and I think it's 100% up my alley, and I'm really excited. And what I've read so far I really loved, but I've just kind of been so busy that I haven't had time to physically sit down and read a book. It was, especially in March, it was more so a lot of audiobooks and reading that way. So I do want to finish this. I'm really anxious to get into it, and hopefully I can push myself to finish this month. Another one I want to read this month is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. As I've been talking about on my channel this whole year, I started A Court of Thorns and Roses this year and got through the first two books, and this is the third installment. And then I think A Court of Frost and Starlight is more of like not a prequel, but just kind of like a novella at the end. So I'm considering this the last book in that trilogy for now, and then obviously you have A Court of Silver Flames, which I'll get to. But yeah, I just wanted to continue with this series and see where this goes. I'm kind of really interested in the war and how that's going to play out, so we'll see. And the spine is super pretty. This book is actually pretty heavy too. So the next books I want to read, I'm going to have to put a picture up here, is the Infernal Devices series. So I want to read The Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess. I want to read all of those this month. And I've already started them, and I'm already part of the way through. I don't have the physical copies currently because I did buy a box set of them, but it was not the covers that I thought they were, so I ended up selling them to somebody else, and I haven't physically picked up the copies yet, but I want to do that soon. But basically, the Infernal Devices is by Cassandra Clare, and it's in the Shadowhunter universe. It's in London, like back in the day, which I think is really cool, and it's a really fun element to this. And it has a lot of British wit in it, at least from what I've found in my little bit of reading that I've done so far. And basically it's following Tessa Gray, who is this character that she realizes she has this power. She doesn't know where this power came from, and she kind of gets thrown into the Shadowhunter world because they rescue her, and it's just kind of an unfolding the mystery that surrounds her. Another one that I think would be fun to start this year, because I did pick up a Scribd audiobook subscription service, and if you haven't heard of them, they have like a library of audiobooks and ebooks and lots of stuff, but I use them for audiobooks. And it's $9.99 a month, and I think you get your first month for free. And the idea is that you can listen to as many audiobooks as you want during that month. And I have personally listened to 3 or 4 this month, and so I haven't had any issues with it. I've heard people have issues with like them telling them they couldn't listen to one of the books until the next month, but I really like it so far, and it's been really handy for me. So one of the ones I wanted to read is Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire in the Where World Children series. And basically what that series entails is these children that have gone to different magical worlds like Narnia. They come back into the real world and they all live in this house, I guess for orphans, but I'm not really sure if they're orphans or not. And it's kind of them learning how to cope with being outside of the magical world and trying to find their way back to that magical world, which I think sounds really fun. And I actually have the 4th and 5th book up here. I got them really, really cheap, and so I just went ahead and grabbed those. And I found Every Heart a Doorway on Scribd, so I'm planning on listening to the first one at least this month. Next one that I'm planning on reading for April is The Diviners by Libba Bray. So I do have the second one, Layer of Dreams, physically down here, but I don't have the first one, and I'm going to be listening to that one on audiobook. And The Diviners, if you haven't heard of it, it's basically, I'm not going to do the best description of this book because I'm kind of trying to go into it a little bit blind, but I've heard that it's kind of spooky, it's a murder mystery, there's mystical powers involved, maybe demonic activity, and any type of thing that's like solving a mystery of like a serial killer and also has a fantasy or supernatural element that's not like horror but kind of spooky. I am pumped about this, and I think that I'm really gonna love it, but I also hope it's not too scary. I've heard it's not too scary. I've heard that people that don't love scary books can read these and they're okay. So that is the last book on my TBR for this month. Okay everyone, that's it for today's video. Please let me know what you plan on reading in April and give me some recommendations down in the comments. If you read any of the books in my TBR, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know what you think I should pick up next, and I'll see you next time. Bye.